All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this evening. I'm just getting everything set up here. All right. I think it's working. So, welcome to the weekly meditation, Circle of Light meditation. I've been calling this Circle of Light for a while now, for a few years, and somebody just told me there's somebody else who's created something called the Circle of Light, which, it's just a good name. I guess I should be honored that somebody else is calling something also a circle of light. It's a beautiful thing. There's lots of circle of lights. So let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Nice to see you all. I wanted to talk about this evening releasing what is not ours. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because there's a lot of shifting that's happening right now. There's, March is always, it's a slog, right? It's like getting through the winter. February, March, like we just want to be done with it. We're going to be taking a little road trip to South Carolina in a few weeks, but I'm also thinking, like, why did we wait so long? It's too late. I want to get to the sun now, and to the warm now, just get away. But it's still, we started tapping our trees recently, and so that gives us something to look forward to do some sap boiling outside. But in general, it's an interesting time. It's always interesting, right? When is it not interesting? Trying to think about what approach I want to take with this. It's hard to ignore what's happening in our external world. And certainly if those of any, people who kind of believe the narrative, we're being told to focus our attention on something else now besides the whole pandemic thing. So, personally, I believe that it's important for us to really come at from a higher perspective, come at, our whatever, where are we going to give our attention to? Be really aware of where we're giving our energy. And, regardless of that, one thing that is happening, and I guess it's all connected, but one thing that is happening a lot these days is we're being asked to release a lot of old patterns. Things are coming up in our lives to be transmuted. And a lot of that has to do with relationships with other people. And I've certainly been experiencing that in my own life. And it's challenging. I think, sometimes we get tired. We're like, how much do I have to do? How much more do I have to do to try to clear this or release this? I feel like I've already done that. Why is this still happening? Why is it still coming up? And so here's something that's interesting that I did a reading for somebody today. And often when I do readings for people, when I have sessions with people, I'm aware that there's a reason that this person has come to me. And this woman, who lives like across the country, she said she was looking for guidance. She asked to be guided to somebody. I hear this a lot. It's really interesting. And she found me. And it's, I love how our guides do that, how they send us the right people, how they connect us. But what she was experiencing, what was coming up for her was conflicts with family members. And, she's done all the things. She's very intuitive. She did all these things to kind of help. But it still wasn't working. It didn't feel like it was working. She wasn't getting the results she wanted from this situation, from other people. And so, I won't talk too much about her, but I think maybe there's some of us here, maybe you are experiencing that as well. We feel like we're doing all the right things. We're doing all, the visualization, we're working with light. Hopefully we're quieting our minds, trying to forgive forgive them for they know not what they do, trying to have a compassion for others, but we're still feeling this conflict, and that doesn't feel good, right? So the last thing our guides want us to do, what I've picked up on, the last thing they want us to do is to beat ourselves up. That, well, it's something that I'm doing wrong, that I must be this, or I'm not enough, or I'm bad, or because if you're listening to this here, I mean, this is a very specific message for those of you here who are probably here because you need to hear it. I don't think this is necessarily true for everybody. Not everybody is experiencing this, but if you're doing all that, all the inner work, chances are, and then other people in your life are not responding the way, it's still, it doesn't feel good when we have this conflict with somebody or things aren't going the way we want. It's not about you. It's about that other person. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, that there's a lot of people going through this, a lot of ego shadows are coming up for people, a lot of fear, confusion. They're trying to reconcile, like, do they believe what they're being told in the media, or do they believe their friend who made some call conspiracy theorists, those types of things. There are people getting sick from doing things to their bodies that they thought were going to help them, and now they're, it's heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking. I was saying to a friend today, this is the worst kind of "I told you so" type of thing. It's not, nobody wants to say, well, look, we were right about this, but it's happening. It's a real thing, and it's happening to people. So as people go through these experiences, there's varying reactions that we'll see from people who are kind of mired in the 3D world. And there's, a lot of this has to do with fear. And this is interesting, and I'm sharing this with a very select group of you, because for somebody who's, shining, if you imagine a light, it is so bright, and a light that is so bright illuminates things in the shadows, and anything that's been like lurking in the shadows, it doesn't like that. It's a bright light can be scary, because you're in the spotlight. That thing that was in the shadows suddenly is illuminated. It can't hide anymore. And so this is happening a lot more than we may think. I've experienced it a lot recently with, shining a light, and others sometimes being scared of that light. And so I think, that's when we're really confused, like, how is this person reacting like this way, like this? Why are they doing that? We can't make sense of it. And we start to think, sometimes we go to our default, like, well, is it something that I did? Or there's the other one is like, oh, it's all them and it's their fault too. I think it's healthy to look at both, right? Not just it's their problem, and not just it's my problem, but more and more, if you are doing all this inner work and you're still experiencing, this confusion about why is this person doing this? Chances are it's not about you. And, that's the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, that one of the 4 agreements is don't take it personally. So when somebody is, pushing you away, or they're angry about something, and you're very confused about why they're doing that, chances are it is their own trigger, their own fear, their own ego stuff that you're seeing. And what we're being asked to do is not take it on, is not take it personally, and just kind of observe, give them space to experience that, and to just be patient, because as people start to awaken, it is one of the most painful things that anybody can go through, especially now, these poor people. It's a really terrifying way to see that not only have you been lied to and tricked, but have been, harmed. Like there's actual harm that's happened, and that it's a very, very upsetting. So we're going to be seeing all kinds of strange behaviors in people as under the mass hypnosis. We're seeing it even more now. I mean, I won't get into all of it, but you all probably know what I'm talking about. We're seeing it. And it's fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating. I was listening to this a snippet of a podcast with Robert F. Kennedy and this French guy. And Robert F. Kennedy was talking about Milton Erickson, who is one of the best known hypnotists of all time. And I learned about Milton Erickson when I was learning how to do hypnotherapy. And one of the protocols, I guess, in hypnosis is you do not wake someone up when they're under hypnosis. And so I do hypnosis for people, and so you don't touch them. You gradually bring them out of it. So think about that. The reason you don't wake up is because it was too jarring. Like they kind of, they would freak out a little bit. Like it's not, it jolts them out of their state of altered consciousness. So that's what we're seeing amongst the majority of the population is they're in the state of mass hypnosis. And so if any of us try to come to them and say, you know what, this is what's really going on, like truth bomb, right? They react negatively often. That's where we're seeing the really strong pushback because they cannot, it's this way, it doesn't compute with the mass hypnosis that they're under. So the best way to work with that is to meet that person where they're at, acknowledge their fear. I understand why you may feel that way. Try to understand like their version of reality. And then, that's compassion, that's holding space. However, this is the other piece I want to say. This does not mean that we subject ourselves to abuse because, to the different types of, attacks. We need to protect ourselves so we can be loving and kind towards somebody and also keep them at arm's length. Because if it affects us, if the person in that state of mass hypnosis, cognitive dissonance is lashing out at you, we see that that's been happening to a lot of us over the past few years. That's it can really affect your vibration. It can lower your vibration if you allow that in. And that's where we've got to do our own inner work, like really believing, no, it's not me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I am trying to be of service. I'm sharing light. The only thing I think we do want to keep in mind is not everybody wants to hear what we have to say. And so always, using your heart, like when is this person open? Is this person open to hearing something or not? Maybe, we might feel like I got to say something, but sometimes it's not in their highest good for us to say anything. So we protect ourselves and we hold light at the same time and we give space and we don't take it personally because this is going to be happening a lot over the next certainly the next year. But watching, it's going to be hard to watch the raging of those mired in 3D as they start to grapple with what's been done to them. Okay, so for this evening, what I wanted to do in this meditation is really, release anything that you who are listening may have acquired that's not yours, because that's certainly easy. And when you're a loving, kind, empathic person, we want to help others. We want to be of service, but sometimes we take energy on or emotions on of other people that don't belong to us, and we want to let those go. So before we do that, I'm just gonna say and I've said this the past few weeks, but one of the best ways, the reason I'm even sharing this with you is because of the Akashic Records, of getting that higher perspective, bird's eye view of what's happening. I'm going to be teaching a class on how to read the Akashic Records in a few weeks. There's still a few spots left. If you're interested, one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is to get that higher perspective and have an understanding. Why is this happening? What's going on here? And then when we start to see, oh, that's why, a perspective that we wouldn't have otherwise seen, we can then begin to move on and let some of the the heavy energy go, or the preconceived notions, or the self-blame, or the self-doubt, or the stuff we've taken on that isn't ours. Let it go. All right, so let's do that now. So let's begin by closing your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Begin to let your body relax. Inhale deeply again in your belly first. Bring all the air up into your upper body. Pause. Slowly, slowly let the air be released. Let your belly sink in last if you can. Let your shoulders drop. Fully let go here. One last deep, full inhale. And then slowly, slowly exhale out, letting all the air just flow out of your nose or mouth. Feel your body letting go, releasing, relaxing. Now just begin to breathe naturally. In and out, letting the breath flow as it wants to, allowing the breath to expand in your belly, in your chest, and then allowing it to flow out in your chest, in your belly, just sink. And then here's an amazing thing, it happens again. The breath flows in again and flows out. And this phenomenon, this miracle of breathing just keeps happening. It's very consistent. Bringing your awareness to this life cycle is the definition of mindfulness, just being aware of something. And the breath is a wonderful thing to be aware of because it also activates your parasympathetic system, nervous system, bringing you into out of fight or flight, if you were in that, and into the prefrontal cortex of your brain, into rational thinking, and into state of peace. Just notice your heart beating. Notice the breath is still moving in and out, just tracing the breath with your awareness. Notice where it flows. Notice what areas of your body seem to be more open to receiving the breath, and which areas maybe have been a little bit neglected, have been in the shadows, hiding. And imagine that your breath now, with your intention, is flowing to that part of your body, circulating around, opening, clearing out any emotions that have been held there. And we're going to bring in the energy of the archangels at this moment. Archangel Michael, to be specific, is going to help us clear away anything that is not ours, anything that we've picked up on, emotions that belong to others, energy that belongs to others, or another, or the collective. And to begin, let's just begin by doing a scan. So just scanning as if you have this laser beam going from your head all the way down to your feet, just scanning your body to see if you can detect any energy that doesn't belong. So take a moment just to do that. What is this energy connected to? Where is it in my body? Is it moving? Is it in the same place? Keep scanning down. You may notice a few places where there's energy that isn't yours. Keep going all the way down through your legs. Just making a mental note of what's here. And as you get down to your feet, imagine that in a big whoosh, a lot of that energy is now being swept out of your body. It's being drawn out through your feet. You may feel as if there's some resistance. Maybe part of you has benefited from holding on to this. But just imagine, if you can, that there's a magnet that's sucking it out. And if you can allow that pull, just trust that pull. That pulling of the energy out of your body is for your highest good, even though you may be clinging to it. See if you can just open your hand, loosen your grip, and just let it go. And feel that being pulled out of your body like taffy being pulled off a stick. And it's being drawn, carried deep down into the earth, into the molten lava core, where it's burned up, transmuted back into the earth. Let's go back through and do that one more time. So just feeling this pulling, this sucking out like a vacuum cleaner. And notice where there's places that you've been holding on to things that aren't yours. Is it in your throat? Taking on the voice of another? Is it in your heart, carrying the feelings or emotions that someone else has been experiencing? As an empath, sometimes we feel like we need to take things from people, that's not in our highest good. Is it in your belly? Maybe there's fear that you've taken on from somebody, or a feeling of power, lack of power, or lack of will that you've taken on. Maybe there's something in your back, a load that you've been carrying that isn't yours, that doesn't belong to you. Maybe there's other parts of your body where you've been storing unwanted energy. So now with this awareness, with this pulling out, feel that it's being dislodged. It's starting to get dissolved. It's being shaken out, chiseled at. And as the little particles, or it's loosening like a big clump of dirt, feel the particles being drawn down out of your body. Maybe they're going up through the top of your head, if that feels better, up to the angelic realm, whatever works for you. But feel them being pulled down. There's light. There's a river of light that is carrying these particles, this debris, this energetic excess, this junk that's carrying it out of your body, this flow. And it begins to leave through your feet. And it's going down, deep down through the earth, down through all the layers, all the magma, down to the lava. And it begins to burn. And it dissolves and it evaporates and it disappears. And this sucking, this pulling is continuing like a vacuum cleaner, like a magnet, pulling it all out of your body. Maybe you take a deep breath here and see if you feel this little bit of a release. There's some Arcturian energy with us as well. We're helping to do psychic surgery to pull this stuff out. These multi-dimensional beings, very high vibration, very loving. They're here. Just take a moment and allow this energy clearing to occur at a deep level, through every level of your mind, body, spirit, and soul in this lifetime and all our lifetimes, in this dimension and all other dimensions. Just allow this clearing, this removal, this release. of excess energy to occur. Almost instantly, there's light now being poured into the top of your head. Light that is filled with the highest vibration of love, of healing, blue, purple light. Maybe there's some yellow and gold or white colors in there. Pink, green. Feel this light filling up every cell of your body. You're soaking it up like a glass that's being filled. Your cup is now beginning to overflow, and your body's like a plant that needs water. It's just soaking up this light, so thirsty for this light. Let the areas that had that energy, or there's maybe a hole, or there's an opening, or there's space, let that light fill up that space. It swirls around. It's healing your body parts. You may even notice that areas of tension or even pain begin to be cleared as we do this, because often bodily symptoms, health issues, it starts with unwanted excess emotions and energy that are held. So as we begin releasing this, just feel this sense of relief flowing through your body. Feels so good just to let that stuff go. Now maybe you feel lighter, more joyful. Feel your heart opening, just like those flowers that are going to be coming up soon, at least where I am. They haven't come up yet. Those beautiful crocuses and daffodils are beginning to open their petals to the sun, shining their light, expressing their beauty. Your heart is opening. So much light pours into your heart. This is who you are, a divine being of light. This is your natural state. This is when you're in your highest and best self. Soak up this light. It is yours. It is you. Feel it spilling out your hands and feet, flowing out into your space, into your light body. And let's take a deep breath in. Bring your hands to prayer position as you exhale, just giving thanks, or over your heart, or in your lap, whatever you like. Giving thanks. You are here, you are doing incredible work in your life, so much expansion, so much soul evolution happening, just honoring yourself and all that you are and all that you are doing. It is absolutely astounding how resilient you are, how much endurance you have. Just honoring your courage and your steadfast commitment to sharing your light and to being one with the light unconditionally. May we be guided, may we be held, nurtured. May we know that we are enough, that our light is enough, that we are one with the light, that we are one with God, and we are here to be of service to others, but first to ourselves, to unconditionally love and accept ourselves for who we are and all that we bring. We give thanks for the guidance, love, and support here with us from our divine guides, angels, galactic beings, and from the Holy Spirit of light, of source, of creator, of God. With gratitude, may it be so, and so it is. Deep breath in, slow exhale, coming back into your body, stretching out, moving your hands and feet. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I hope that was helpful in some way. Those of you in all the different places I'm in, feel free to make a comment. Unfortunately, on Facebook, I'm not able to see them until after, but still write it, and then I'll comment after. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. The Arcturians have been coming up a lot recently. It's interesting. They're just so powerful, such high vibration, loving energy. And of course, Archangel Michael is just there for us all the time, no matter what. Just so amazing. A few things I want to share. I'm going to share this in a post at some point, but I'm really so excited that the cover of my book is finished. And the proof, and my graphic designer is working on it, and I saw the proof of what the book's going to look like, at least for the first introduction and the preface and the very beginning of chapter 1 just today. It was it was a PDF of what the ebook's going to be, and then eventually the print book. It was just so exciting. Cannot wait to share that with you all soon enough. I'm not setting a date because there's a few things that need to get figured out before I set a pre-sale and release date. So I'm very excited about that. There's a few other things that I'm going to be doing soon. I'm going to be making some changes to this community that I'm facilitating, the Soulful Work community, changing the name of that, tweaking it slightly. I was going to call it Circle of Light because that's the meditation, what this is called, but I might call it something different. And a few other things that I've been thinking about and mulling over. But in the meantime, there's the Akashic Records class, which is coming up in a few weeks. If you're curious about it, you're probably ready because you're being guided into the Akashic Records. So feel free to check that out. It's going to be a beautiful, powerful way to do so much healing, so much clearing, so much learning about what's happening from a higher perspective, bringing in the sense of peace and contentment and just, okay, now we can keep moving through our lives. It aligns our vibration, it brings in a higher vibration, raises our vibration. So then when we're in a higher vibrational state, we attract more of the wonderful things that we want for us. When we write down our future selves and our visions and we co-create it, the Akashic Records can help us bring that much closer into reality. So hopefully you'll check that class out. You'll also learn how to do readings for other people if you want, and you'll get a certificate. So, all right. That's about it. That's all I got for this evening. Thanks for being here with me. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye.